So in this video, I'm going to cover the ultimate football match betting strategy, which I've used to earn thousands and thousands of pounds over the last few years from all of the different bookmakers here in the UK. The best part is you can also start using this betting strategy yourself and start locking in some really nice profits as well. So there is a secret in the betting industry which the bookmakers don't want you to know about. And not only that, but anybody that's associated or affiliated with promoting sports books is also keeping this fact pretty quiet as well. And the fact is, bookmakers are always actively short pricing. So let's say the true price on Manchester United winning a football match is 2-1, the bookmaker would be likely to offer you a price of 7-4. So basically, when you win, you get shortchanged and you get ripped off because the price the bookmaker offered you in the first place was a rip-off. But of course, when you lose, you've still got to fork out your entire back stake to the bookmaker. And of course, over the long term, sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. But this little sneaky trick that the bookmaker is using in the middle of all this ensures that you cannot make any money betting over the long term using sportsbooks. Just think about it. In theory, you should only ever need to open your bookmaker account and then deposit just the once and then never ever deposit again if you're a winning punter and you're betting professionally. But let's be honest, how many times have you re-hit the deposit button on your bookmaker account vowing that this time is going to be the time that you hit that really huge win? And ultimately what I'm getting at is the bookmaker has an edge and they have an advantage, and that edge and that advantage comes as a result of offering you poor prices which don't represent value. So what we need to do is we need to look in the complete opposite direction from what most people are doing. Most people are continually betting on hackers and singles and all this kind of stuff, thinking that they're going to outdo the bookmakers and outsmart the bookmakers with that big win. There's no edge to doing that, as we've been touching on, and that's the direction that most of the betting public look in. So for us to gain an advantage, for us to gain a mathematical edge over the bookmakers, we do need to look in another direction to most people. And the way in which we're going to be able to do that is by using bookmakers promotions and bookmakers bonus offers to override the fact that we're being ripped off and put the edge and put the advantage back on our side so we can make lots of cash from the bookmakers. So meet the 2-up offer. The 2-up offer is without question the best football match betting strategy that you can use if you really do want to make some serious profits from betting. It's easy to understand, no research required, and it's scalable as well. So I know loads of people, including myself, that have made a lot of cash from using this promotional offer to their advantage. So I'm sure you've noticed when you're placing your bets with Bet365, this little box, this little early payout section box, is always dotted around somewhere around your bet slip. Now to summarise, if you're not familiar with this, basically what it's letting you know is the 2-up offer, the early payout offer, is at play on the team or on the match that you've got in your bet slip. And the way in which it works, let's say you back Manchester United pull 2 goals up in the match. Bet365 then pay you out early on your bet regardless of what happens in the remainder of the game. So Man United could just win 4-0 and you'd still win anyway. Or they could end up drawing, they could end up blowing the lead and drawing, or the other team that were 2 goals down could miraculously turn the game back round and end up winning 3-2. Now what I do and what loads of other match bettors do is use this promotion to take away any risk or really mitigate the risk, so it's pretty much next to nothing, and lock in big profits as a result of using the promotion as an edge. So effectively you can use this super simple tool right here, the 2-up matcher. And I'll leave a link down below in the description if you do want to try this out for free. But basically this tool over on OddsMonkey will find the best matches where the back prices with football teams are obviously very similar to the lay prices on the same teams over on the exchange. And then all you've got to do is find a match and a team that you like the look of, and it's a tight enough match between the back price and the lay price across bookmaker and exchange. Head over to Bet365, place your back bet with those guys, and then all you need to do is use the calculator that OddsMonkey will provide you with and use the specific lay stake that the calculator is telling you to use, lay the same team on the betting exchange using that specific stake, and that's it. Super simple, job done. And once you've actually done that, you'll take a really small loss between the back price you got with the bookmaker and the lay price that you laid the same team with over on the exchange. And if the prices were the exact same, so let's say the back price was 2.5, the lay price was 2.5, you'll actually win and lose nothing. Because of course you're betting on the team to win with the bookmaker and you're betting on the team to not win, which accounts for losing or indeed drawing. You know, both of those bets are going to cancel each other out. And if the prices were the exact same, you're going to be left with no win and no loss. Or if there was a slight discrepancy, you might take a really small loss between the two prices. And by the way, if you do want to get your hands on the 2-up matcher, I've got that free trial link down below in the description as I touched on. OddsMonkey is a great software. They've got loads and loads of tools for smashing the bookmakers and beating the bookmakers. I've been with them for a good few years now and they have helped me earn a lot of profit. So do check out that link if you do want to try OddsMonkey for free. But yeah, from that point, all you've got to do is sort of sit back, relax, keep one eye on the scoreline of the game. Maybe you can set up some sort of alert on your phone to inform you of any goals that have been scored within the match that you obviously bet on. And of course, if and when the team that you've backed with your back bet and obviously laid on the exchange, because we're backing and laying the same team, pull 2 goals up in the match, Bet365 will indeed honour their commitment. They'll honour the promotion that they're running and they'll pay out your back bet early. And as soon as they've done that and as soon as they've paid you out early, make sure the money's gone into your betting account balance with Bet365. And then all you need to do is jump over to the betting exchange, whether that be Betfair or Smirkets or wherever you place your lay bet to counteract the back bet. And you want to actually cash out of your lay bet over on the betting exchange, or trade out as it's known over on the betting exchange. And once you arrive at the betting exchange at this point, the lay bet will be in a losing position. Obviously one bet's up on one website, the other bet, the complete opposite bet, is going to be down on the other website. But the great thing is with a betting exchange, you can actually cash out whenever you want or trade out whenever you want. It doesn't matter whether you're in profit or whether you're in a loss. If you want to cash out, you're free to do that. Unlike with a traditional bookmaker where as soon as you're in a loss, the bookmaker offers you absolutely nothing as a cash out. So yeah, all you want to do is hit cash out over on the exchange and you will take a loss on that bet because the bet is obviously down on that website. But the great thing is the cash out loss over on the exchange is much smaller than the 2-up early payout offer you got with the bookmaker, and you actually make a nice profit between those two bets. So you might be asking yourself, well, exactly how does this work? And ultimately it just relies on what we were touching on earlier. You need some sort of an edge, some sort of an advantage to win over the long term. And the 2-up offer, because it's a big promotion, it comes with a big edge, is enough to allow you to make profits, if that makes sense. So to expand on that, the idea is when the team that you've backed with the bookmaker doesn't go 2 goals up in the match, you take a really small loss, or sometimes you won't even take any loss if the prices were the same between bookmaker and exchange. And you keep taking really small losses every time it doesn't quite work out for you. And then when it does work out and the team you've backed with the bookmaker pull 2 goals up, you jump over the exchange and you cash out, you get that big profit which wipes out any of the little small losses that you've taken along the way. And when you look back at your profit and loss at the end of the month, you can see it started down here and it ended all the way up here, and you've got a nice big profit in between. And one of the really amazing things about running this strategy in this manner is the 2-up offer is completely scalable. So you could, if you're just starting out, you could start using £10 back stakes with Bet365, or if you're more experienced and you're really going for it and you're going for the big profits, you could use £500 back stakes with Bet365. And I'll just show you a few screenshots up on screen now on an older Bet365 account that I was running the 2-up strategy on before it got state restricted and before it got gubbed, just to show you that you can quite easily get large sums of money on with Bet365 without any real issue or without any real problem. And of course, the more money that you use on this strategy, the more profit you're going to make with each month that goes by. Now, the amount of profit that you can make on each 2-up game that you get on is dictated by a few things. The first of which, of course, which we've been touching on it, is stake. You know, if you're using a £10 back stake with a bookmaker, you're going to earn considerably less money than you would earn if you're using a £500 back stake with the bookmaker. Now, the way it works is you're going to get a varying percentage return on the back stake that you've used with the bookmaker. So the varying percentage return will obviously be the same, regardless of whether you used a £10 stake or a £500 stake. But can you imagine a 10% return on a £500 stake versus a 10% return on a £10 stake? You're going to earn a lot more money on the larger stake. So it's clearly all about scale. You know, you obviously need to start off somewhere and get familiar with it and get comfortable with it. So probably £10 is the ideal place to start. But the sooner you can start scaling up, the more profit you're going to make, and it's going to start exponentially increasing pretty quickly. Another factor you need to take into account when you're running this betting strategy in terms of profit is the back price that you got with the bookmaker. So let's say Manchester City are playing Luton Town and Manchester City have a back price of 1.4. You know, Luton Town's newly promoted from the Championship this year. Manchester City are probably, arguably, the best team of all time. They're probably going to justify a really heavy odds-on short price like this. And what Bet365's telling you is Manchester City are going to be very likely to score 2 goals, and they're probably going to be likely to score 2 goals in the first half. Almost certainly win the match because that's what the odds are representing. Whereas if we flip it around and let's say Luton Town have a price of about 5-1, so 6 in decimals, the bookmaker is telling you that Luton Town have very, very little chance of scoring 2 goals in the match, and they have little chance of winning the match as well. So it's kind of a balancing act between the two. If you get on a team like Man City in an example like this, what we're priced at 1.4 in our example, it's going to hit for you very, very frequently, but the profit you'll make when it does hit for you isn't going to be very large because there's not much profit to work with because the odds are so short. Flip side of that, Luton Town, price of 6, let's say for this example, it's not going to hit very often for you at all, but when it does hit, you're going to have an absolutely enormous profit, really, really large in relation to the profit you would have had if Man City went 2 goals up and you got on them. So for me, as I've been running this 2-up strategy for a good few years now, I've kind of found that a sweet spot in between how often you win and how large the profit is going to be when you do win. A good sweet spot, I think, is probably about 2-1 mark, maybe 3.5, so 3 and 3.5. Sort of at that level is a nice spot where you get a decent profit when you do win, and it does hit rather frequently, and it keeps you engaged with what you're doing as well. But if you're running this strategy, or you do plan to start running this, I wouldn't really restrict yourself to certain prices, like short prices like Man City or larger prices like Luton. I would strictly and only limit yourself to the highest ratings you can get on the 2-up matcher. So if the rating's 100%, the back price between the bookmaker and the exchange is the exact same and you'll take no loss. If it's 1%, you're going to take an absolutely enormous loss. So you need to get on the highest matches possible, really. Don't discriminate and just target certain matches. Any match that's a high match, decent enough quality, you should be getting on it for a really small qualifying loss, or indeed, if the prices are the same, no qualifying loss whatsoever. And the third thing to take into account from a profit you can make perspective is the amount of time that's left in the match that you've got your 2-up position on. So if it's late in the match when the team that you've backed have gone 2 goals up, there isn't going to be a great deal of time for the team that are now 2 goals down to pull back into the match, whether that just be by getting 1 goal and making it competitive again. There's not a great deal of time left, and the odds over on the exchange will indeed reflect that. However, if the team that you've backed with the bookmaker, and obviously you've got on your 2-up position with, pull 2 goals up in the first 30 or 40 minutes, maybe even up to like 65, 70 minutes, there's still going to be a little bit of time. There's going to be half a chance for the team that are 2 goals down to go on the offensive and maybe pull a goal back. And the odds, again, will reflect that. So what I'm trying to say ultimately is you want the team that you've backed with a bookmaker and obviously laid on the exchange, the team you've got on for the 2-up position, to pull 2 goals up as quickly as you possibly can. And if that happens, and if you've got a decent price, 2-1 or higher, 3 or higher, you'll be in for a nice profit, and if you've used a large stake as well. Those 3 things are the absolute optimal for making the most profit. Decent size stake, decent odds that you've got on, and of course the team pulling 2 goals up pretty quickly as well. But ultimately, on that note, I do just want to stress something as well. It is out of your control. You can't control how often the team goes 2 goals up. There's nothing you can do about it. All you can control is the percentage matches you're taking on the 2-up matcher. So 100% match, you're going to have no loss. The price is going to be the same between the bookmaker and the exchange. 99% match, small discrepancy, small loss. All you can control from your side is taking really high matches. So when it goes wrong, you mitigate your downside and you take a really tiny loss. You don't need to worry about anything else. This strategy is profitable. I use it. Loads of other match bettors I know use it as well. You don't need to worry about whether it's profitable. You don't need to do any research or anything like that. The edge is with the promotion. The 2-up offer is the edge, and you'll be absolutely fine providing you take high enough matches between the back and the lay price. And again, if you do want to get your hands on OddsMonkey and check out the amazing 2-up matcher for free, I've got my free trial link down below in the description. Again, I've used these guys for years now. I've been a member of OddsMonkey for a good few years. They've got loads of tools I've used to beat the bookmakers and earn loads of cash. It's a great site. I've never had any issues with them whatsoever. And the free trial link I've got for them is down below in the description of this video. And if you do want even more information on this amazing betting strategy, this 2-up offer where you can earn thousands and thousands of pounds from Bet365, I've done a step-by-step walkthrough which goes through it in super simple detail, and you should check that out. It's on screen now, and that will give you a step-by-step walkthrough of exactly how you can get started smashing Bet365 for thousands. Cheers guys, and I'll see you in the next video.